I was born in a one-room log cabin in the middle of the woods in British Columbia, Canada, to parents who were growing most of their own food, practicing yoga and meditation every day for hours,
Amazing.
fasting regularly, and, they named their kid Ocean.
Yeah, right. Well, I'm married to a sequoia.
Right, there you go.
And then we just full transparency, we both named our children. You have a
Bodie
son,
and River.
Bodie and River. And so my daughter's name is Bodie and my son's name is Pax. So we're of the same thread.
Absolutely. Yeah. And my parents almost named me Kale.
Oh, wow.
This was way before Kale was cool.
Ocean is
I'm kind of glad they took the more conservative route with their naming of their son. But, but we did eat a lot of kale.
Yeah.
And that's why they almost named me Kale.
Oh,
it was a staple in the Canadian winter. And we ate a lot of other cabbage and carrots and other veggies from the garden. And then when I was 10, we moved to California. And that's when my dad began working on a book called Diet for New America, which came out in 1987. And it was about how our food choices affect our health, our happiness, and the future of life on Earth. And as it happens, the media kind of went nuts with the story because the story starts a generation earlier here. Yes. My grandpa, Irvin Robbins, founded an ice cream company. Yeah. You may have heard of it. It was called Baskin Robbins. Yes. And he started it with my dad's uncle, my grandpa's brother-in-law, Bert Baskin. They flipped a coin over which name went first, Robbins Baskin or Baskin Robbins.
Oh, that's
funny. My
funny.
grandpa lost the coin toss. But, that went on to become the most successful ice cream company in the world and kind of actually was what brought franchising to the world. So Ray Kroc actually sold milkshake machines to Baskin Robbins and learned about the franchising model from my grandpa and then went on to start McDonald's.
Wow.
So for better or for worse, that's quite a family legacy.
That is.
My dad grew up with an ice cream cone-shaped swimming pool in the backyard and with 31 flavors of ice cream in the freezer, plus testing flavors at all times. And he was groomed to one day join him running the business. That was the expectation from the age of about 6. And then when he was in his early 20s, he was literally offered that chance. And he said no. He walked away from a path that was practically paved with gold and ice cream.
Yeah.
As we jokingly put it in our family, he had to follow his own rocky road.
That was good.
Yeah. That's when he walked away not just from the company, but any access to the family wealth. Yeah. And my grandpa was really mad because he'd spent his whole life building a business that he was proud of. Yeah. He wanted to share it with his only son. Right. And his son's walking away from his life's work. Yeah. And my grandpa was really hurt. And when I was growing up as a kid, we'd visit. We weren't going to let anything stop us from being family. Right. But it was tense. Oh, so because my grandpa he'd sold the company and then he watched it go in directions he didn't like. Yeah. For whatever you say about ice cream, Baskin Robbins had certain standards as far as using real vanilla instead of vanillin, products that were from cows that were treated a little bit better. It wasn't like they were really anti-factory farms, but they had certain values and ethics. They treated their employees pretty well. But once it got bought, it just became another corporation. Yeah. And my grandpa felt hurt to see people that he'd worked with for decades fired or not treated right and all the things. But he had no control over it. And he blamed it all on my dad. Oh, like if you had stayed in the company, none of this would have happened. Yeah. And our family name is now on a product with ice cream that's made in China. So he had all those feelings. And so I think that it was challenging. And then a very interesting thing happened. My dad came out with his book and it became this runaway bestseller. My grandpa didn't read it. My grandma asked at one point, "Did you write this book just to hurt us?" Oh. Because she felt that my dad was like saying that conventional agriculture had some problems and that ice cream wasn't health food. And but then my grandpa was on death's door. He'd lost his brother-in-law Bert Baskin to heart disease. My dad's uncle died when he was 54. Ironically. Yeah, and he ate a lot of the family product. Yeah. And he was a big man and he passed at 54. My grandpa in his late 60s was on a similar path. He had serious heart issues, serious weight issues, and type 2 diabetes. His doctors told him, "Mr. Robbins, you're very sick. And if you don't make some big changes, you're going to take these medications for the rest of your life, and it probably won't be very much longer." They said, "But if you want to make changes, there's a book you should read."
Oh, I've heard that.
And they give him a copy of Diet for New America by the renegade son who walked away from my grandpa's life's work. And my grandpa, bless his heart, read the book. Not the one my dad had sent him with an autograph in it, but the one the doctor gave him. And he changed his life. He wound up following its advice and he gave up processed foods and sugars and he cut way down on his animal product consumption. He started eating a lot more fruits and vegetables and whole plant foods, gave up ice cream. And he got results. He lost a bunch of weight. He reversed his diabetes. He reversed his heart disease. Wow. Got off all these medications he'd been told he'd need to take for the rest of his life. His favorite part was that his golf game improved 7 strokes. Yeah. My favorite part was that he lived 19 more healthy years. Yeah. And I got to know my grandpa as I was growing up. And not only know him, but know him healthier and know him happier
Yeah.
And so he got a second chance when he got to live out his golden years and his retirement years with more health and vitality, taking the dog for a walk for an hour and a half every morning.
Amazing.
And so we've really seen in our family what happens when we follow the standard American diet. We get the standard American diseases, and we've seen what can happen when we make a change.
Yeah.
And, I'm so proud of my grandpa because he was a stubborn cookie.
Yeah.
And if anyone ever had an investment in the standard American diet, it was him.
Yeah.
He'd manufactured and sold so much ice cream, and yet he had the courage to make a change.
Right.
And if he could make a change, maybe there's hope for some of the rest of us to make changes too. With all the habits and all the inertias and all the reasons why we don't want to make changes, maybe we can find hope too.
Yeah.
And a lot of us don't get a second chance.
Yeah.
Like my dad's uncle, who I never even knew. He was gone before I was born.
Yeah.
But my grandpa did, and he took it. And so for everybody who's listening right now, like we all have a chance right now, whether it's our first chance, our second chance, our 10th chance, we all have a chance to do something with our lives, to make positive and healthy choices. Yeah. And so my life is just dedicated to giving as many people as possible the opportunity to seize those opportunities so we can have the health that we want.
Yeah. God, that was like such a great completion to the story that I didn't know. So thank you, because I'm thinking as you were talking, and please pass this on to your dad, because that book literally set me on the course that I've been on. And what I learned was so many things in that book. It literally, I carried it everywhere I went. Like I was like, this book. And what I found so fascinating was the fact, and think about this from my 20-year-old brain. My 20-year-old brain was like, why would you give up millions? Why would you give up? Like you had a path, like you said, that was paved with golden ice cream. My 20-year-old brain was like, why would you give that up?
Right.
And then it translated it into, because people's health is that important.
Yeah.
And here is an individual that stood up and said, I don't want that because it's too important that people stay healthy.
Yeah.
And that left a massive impact on me.
Yeah.